And we're back, yay, by myself today with fucking Philip Dussor from, is it Dussor? Dussor from Raise the Dead
Restart.
Oh, fuck all that shit. We keep going. All right, and we got Jacob, Matt, and Jared, all from 3 different bands playing at Philip's birthday party on what day is that?
January 25th.
What year?
2025.
Yeah. 40th
We're still
birthday.
here. Turning 40.
Very cool. It's cool to have you guys all together. And you guys used to play all together back in the day, too. These are reformed bands that are going to be playing at the birthday party, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Very cool.
If 2017 counts, yes.
You guys were still playing together in 2017?
I'm not sure. So these are 2 reformed bands. It's a reform, but not in those times. Because how old are you now?
31.
31. So in 2001, 2002, you was what?
2001, I was 8.
Yeah. 2001, he was 8. So, all right. So let's see. How did everybody meet each other? All at the same place back in the day?
Well, Jared and I met him when I moved to Bridge City. And we started, him and a buddy of ours named Mike started Aggravate. At the time, it was called Macabre.
Macabre, so we found the word macabre in the dictionary, so we did the new metal thing and changed the C to a K, and we called it Macabre because we were Bridge Cityans, man. We didn't know how to pronounce that word.
Sweet.
And then we later found out there was a band called Macabre, so had to change the name.
Oh.
But I think we did like 3 shows. And yeah, we fucking butchered that word. We was Macabre, but it's called Macabre. And at first we was Leader Injection.
Oh, yeah. They were just throwing out all those bad names.
With a Rugrats interlude.
Oh.
Nice.
Actual Rugrats?
No, it was the little Burger King watch where you pressed a little button. That was like a sample. So we had,
But I want to say, when we was recording our first shit, and it was something like that, right?
hell no, man. It was the Tascam with the 4-track with the fucking cassette on it.
Got one right down there. It's a 4-track recorder? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
When was that?
2000,
Yeah,
2001.
maybe like 2001. Yeah.
I was still recording on tape at that time, too. I got a
Nice.
hard disk recorder, I think, in 2003.
Because that one was on tape, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was still on cassette tape.
Very cool. Is that what you record that stuff that was on Spotify?
Oh, God, no. That was actually a live recording.
Really?
That's what I was telling you
Yeah.
at Cypress Hall. So when we first got into the local scene, we followed this band called Organized Hostility, Skin Crawl, and Demise was the first show. Got it correct this time. And from going to the shows, it was like, man, we're in a band. We would like to try. And they helped us get our first show. It was at 3 p.m. on the West Bank at the MVC. And he just signed on to be our manager. And he would like kind of front the money, and we would just kind of gradually pay him back. And he could not play to a click track to save his fucking life.
No.
We never recorded before.
Yeah, so
And go ahead.
we basically went into the studio that day and spent probably like 8 or 9 hours just for him to finally be like, get the fuck out of here, go home and learn how to play drums, because like my hands and feet were still playing together. There was no like separation or anything. Like didn't have YouTube or nothing like that. So I mean, completely like ghetto taught drums, you know?
Right.
So yeah, that was like I had to go back and basically learn how to play drums.
Because kind of thinking about it, that was before MySpace, before YouTube, before even having a computer.
Fucking
Nobody had a
dial-up
computer.
internet if you were lucky.
Was it before Napster?
That's Napster time, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
But it would take 3 days to download a song, you know what I mean? Or, God, if you're trying to watch a video on there, do you have to wait a week for Heather Brooke to download, man?
Got 3 versions of it. One of them's gonna
I
work.
hope you got the right one.
Man, what's funny is whenever somebody brings up Heather Brooke, I don't know if it's gay or not, but I think of Matt. Me and Matt, we connected on Heather Brooke.
I mean, didn't everybody?
But nobody knows Heather Brooke. Like, do you know who Heather Brooke is?
He was 8.
I'm
of course
31.
he does.
That's a negative.
Well, she tried to come back and got slammed. I'm like, dude, you will forever be.
Isn't that part of her job?
Yeah.
Was it get slammed? Well, she's Heather Harmon now. But if you ever see those memes, like if you know this face and you was born in this age, you know you know.
And it's just the eyes.
Yeah, it's just her. It's her face.
It's because your shit was buffering. You were waiting for that. You stared at that for like 4 hours.
Just trying to keep it going.
Well, most of my Heather Bros came from Kazaa.
All right.
All right.
But I first met Matt in Shutter.
Yeah, I feel like the first time we met was at open mic night at Animal House. Because I remember you did a front flip on somebody, like you're not a big giant, and he
Well,
just hit
actually,
the ground.
that night was actually when Jared's mom used to bring us to shows and help us out. We thought, what was it, 106.7? What was the radio station there? And they was only going to be there from this hour to this hour. What was the dude's name with the long hair that was booking there? He sang in the band Witch Doctor.
Todd.
Todd Lowenberg.
And he was like, I'll give you these 2 times. Well, we thought as a business decision was, man, let's be there while the radio station's there. We're going to kill it. Well, it's a bar that whenever somebody got shot, they would change their name. I don't know if you ever went to the one on Berman Highway.
Shit looked like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. It was a fucking like 2-story, big old looking fucking house kind of thing, converted into a bar.
Well, I don't know how many times me and Jared saw people either have sex or fight in the parking lot, but bands used to practice underneath it. It was a 2-story building. So we thought by playing early with the radio station there, it would do as well. We was there, not that many people there, but by the time y'all played, you was in Wake Down. It wasn't even Shutter.
It was Shutter at the time.
No, Jared, it was because your boy, that sucker punch Shane.
Debo.
Yeah,
Mike,
he was the singer. So I don't think it was Shutter. It was Wake Down.
Well, maybe that was a different time that I'm thinking of. Because I definitely remember you did a front flip on Big B and you just hit the ground.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
You remember Red,
The bartender.
the crackhead bartender?
Yeah. You dressed like a leprechaun
Yeah.
sometimes.
He used to
Yeah.
do the flames.
Did he do Flames?
No,
Who
you
was the
think
one
of
that
another
blew-
dude. There was
Okay.
another guy.
Wow.
Was that the hazmat dude?
Yeah, what was his name?
Carl.
Oh, but yeah, I did do a front flip on Big B,
he
but
got mad.
I used to try to do a lot of front flips
Right.
because I think my last one when I finally ended it, and it was from Jared's perception of like, man, you just landed on this girl that had a bandana, and her face was just like, well, you can't see. Oh, I guess you can, but her boyfriend plays in Totem, and we played
Oh,
with
was
him.
that was that the Babylon show?
Yeah.
I heard about this actually. I think I might have even seen video of it.
Oh shit.
Everybody, look at this fucking asshole.
But I was like, man, it's one of those puppies that doesn't realize their weight, height, whatever, and just does shit. And I was like, man, I got to get the crowd into it. I don't mind hurting myself, but God forbid I hurt somebody else.
Yeah, so we met there. We played some shows after, but I think what really took us off was we did a recording right after Katrina, and we started booking a lot of local shows.
Cool. Was that all we're at West Bank where you guys are, or where were you guys playing mostly?
A lot of the time it was the MVC, which is on the West Bank. They had the Cypress / High Ground,
Okay.
which is in Fat City. I don't think we played at Zeppelin's together, but I know we played there a few different times.
Yeah, I
We
hear
did
about
Rise of the
Zeppelin's a
Crop
lot.
with Wake
Yeah.
Down, man.
We did, what was that? It was across from the convention center, right?
No, Rise of the Crop 1 was at Keystones.
Keystones. That's
No,
what
Zeppelin's was first one.
Zeppelin's
Then
was-
it moved to Keystones.
Which is funny because I have a friend at work that's obsessed with the band Merriweather. And I'm like, man, we played the Rise of the Crop. I don't even know where they are now.
I haven't heard that name in so long.
Merriweather?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guy's name was Brandon, right?
I don't know.
I don't know none of their names.
Yeah.
Do you?
No.
What kind of band was that?
So I don't remember what era. I've been in like an alternative rock band. Then we were, I don't know, metalcore maybe. The Wake Down band was like a rap metal thing.
Uh huh.
But it mainly the metalcore. That's the type of stuff we did.
And what instrument do you play, man?
I play guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you play bass?
I play the mouth.
Oh, you sing?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I was saying whenever you were coming over, we were short one member for a new band. Because
Right.
it was like a drummer, a fucking guitar player, and a singer, I guess.
The bass was the one we was
Yeah,
missing.
the bass is what we were missing.
That's as a bassist, should be, right? Just fucking nowhere to be
Fucking
found.
justice for all.
So you got vocalists, guitar, drums, and guitar.
Yeah, I'm happy about that actually.
Yeah.
No basis here, but so what band are you from? From Damon Grimm?
Damon Grimm, yeah.
Damon Grimm. I didn't know how to say it either.
Yeah, it's
Wasn't sure.
okay. Our drummer Brock started the band as like a studio project with Jonathan Dolis, Concrete Studios. Kind of just got some old buddies together to track some stuff, and we're like, well, this is kind of fun. Maybe we should do it, you know? And so that was probably like 2016 we started. And then I don't think we played a show until December of 2017.
Very cool.
So.
Man, that's way later. I thought it was sooner.
No, I've been in a bunch of bands. So I don't know you. I know of you from the MVC because you're the biggest dude there, obviously, from
what's the
Unwilling Commencement days.
But what's the one first memory you bring up with me all the time? When I found you and I was like, wait, they got bands in Bell Chase? Didn't you say that? What band was that called?
Dude, so that's the band I would have been playing at the MVC with. It was Bipolar at first, and then we're like, not a good name, so we went with A New Light.
Were you singing back then too?
Yeah, I was like, for whatever reason, this band just they're fucking around at the practice space, and I was just learning how to scream. They let me scream. They're like, we should add this. I was like, all right.
Cool.
So,
Well, I always remember in our conversations, you said I messaged the band or I messaged you, and you said, damn, they got bands in Bell Chase, because I think I was living in Bell Chase at the time.
yeah.
And I forgot what I hit up somebody, and I was like, wait a minute, there's a Bell Chase band or something? And it was
I kind of remember that. Would we have been MySpace friends?
Probably. I was friends with everybody.
So
Were you friends with Tom?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it was
Good
during
choice
that
to
time,
have.
that probably had to been MySpace though.
Yeah, for sure. Because I didn't start playing shows till probably like 2008-ish. My first show was at the MVC.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
With who?
With the Bell Chase band, Bipolar, dude.
No, I mean, who was on the who else was on the bill?
Oh, man.
Come on, let's dig
Probably
deep.
brown socks.
I use aluminum deodorant, and apparently that makes you forget things.
Yes.
It's
I
not
say.
smoking weed or that.
And aluminum deodorant is Axe.
Well, I used degree, dude. Come on. I'm
got
31
class.
now. But yeah, I don't remember anybody on that bill, but
Nah, fuck them, huh?
yeah, fuck them.
Brown Sox wasn't on it.
Damn, I remember Brown Sox.
Well, they owned it.
Right. No, I don't think so. Dude, I have no idea.
All right, well,
Memory's trash.
can I go to the?
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right, so I would say, with this being a nostalgia thing, I guess you started it. Very first show, year, venue.
That I attended.
No, that you played,
Oh, MVC.
That was it.
Yeah, for sure.
Jared.
MVC. What year was it?
I want to say 2022. I mean,
Damn.
2002 or 2001.
2002. I think sounds. Maybe I don't know. So it's close.
I mean, it was April. Matt.
August 2002 at Animal House.
So your first show ever was
Animal
not all
House
ages.
Open mic, no.
Do you remember the bands that played?
No.
Do you remember the
Exactly.
bands that played?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Organized Hostility played. Sandwich, which was Brown Sox, is a side project. Their acoustic side project played before us. Tribal Descent.
Tribal Descent from Hammond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that
Then
band.
the band Never. They played the night before. They were from Denham Springs, but
Oh, okay.
kind of same area.
Yeah.
Shakespeare in Hell was on that bill. Fuck. Man, probably some other good bands too. But that was a fun day. Put it to you that way.
Well, our first show was together, and the cool thing I remember was the guys from Organized Hostility kind of got us on the show and helped us out. We made a flyer, even though we was the opening band at 3:00 in the afternoon. We was the bold print on the flyer.
And we had to put at 3 on the corner.
So no one showing up. I've seen this band's like, yeah, they played 6 hours ago.
Yeah.
Because I want to say, did Vertigo Sun play that night too?
I don't remember if it was that night or night. It was a weekend long thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I want to say, yeah, they were there. And Caustic Six, that was another one. That was another Baton Rouge band. A lot of Baton Rouge bands used to actually come down and play and stuff.
But that's what I was telling you. They used to have 3-day festivals, and it'll be packed from the first band on to the last band and so forth.
These are all ages shows?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Well,
why.
it had a skate park. It was a tattoo shop. You could sleep there.
Anything goes, brother.
That sounds awesome.
Well, we used to think that it said anything goes because it was on the Indian reservation, but now it's a huddle house.
Slash
casino.
shell casino.
Oh, okay. Fucking cool.
So I guess anybody can answer first. Did you start going to local shows when you started playing, or was you going to local shows before you started playing?
Playing shows is what got me going because I was so young.
So you never been to a local show before you played a show?
I don't think so.
I went to like 2 punk shows at Cypress Hall before I got into it.
Do you remember their names?
No, I don't. It was so long ago, but playing shows is what got me going to them too.
So I went to a local show before I played my first show because somebody happened to hand me an Organized Hostility CD, which I don't have that actual CD, but I still bumped that actual demo. It sounds like quality-wise, like if I let you listen to it, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? You wouldn't definitely get the
This
same
total
excitement
shit.
I get.
Yeah.
But like I still put that on, and there's nothing new that I listen to today that gets me the same feeling that piece of shit 4-song CD does. But yeah, I went to I went to shows before I was able to play a show.
Yeah, so I guess another one of my questions, if I can.
Oh, no,
TJ?
keep going, man.
All right.
This is great. I'm fucking
Can,
chilling on this one.
So can production snobs enjoy local music recordings?
Can they enjoy them?
Yeah. So do you enjoy it just for the sake that somebody's putting it together, whether their budget or whatever? Or if you're a production snob, you're just not going to check out local music?
Well, hopefully they would still check it out. But when you start creating art, even as a musician or a vocalist, you kind of hyper focus on that. And sometimes I feel like if the music or the movie or whatever it is, creative endeavor you do, that you may also do, if it's good enough, it'll remove you from that hyper analytic mind space. So, I mean, if like I feel like a good producer should just like love music and be able to tune out. But also the music's got to be good enough.
Oh, no. Well, I'm not talking about from a producer standpoint, from a listener's.
From a listener.
So you go to a show, you enjoy the band. They
You just like the production yourself as a snob.
Well, when I bring up production snobs, it's listening to the song and judging the quality, not as the production instead of the song, the arrangements, the patterns, the notes, the riffs. You're more focused on the clarity of it as opposed to the arrangements. Because a lot of local, you get what I'm saying, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I could piggyback off of this.
Yeah,
so
go
like,
for it.
depends on the genre, right? So if you listen
Yeah.
to like that old school black metal shit, they did it with one fucking microphone in a room, sounded like ass. If it didn't sound like that, it wouldn't have the same value. You listen to a grindcore band, right? If it doesn't have a shittier recording, you don't have the same energy, attitude, and feel of it. You know what I mean? But there is certain bands to where it does require a cleaner production to kind of appreciate it. But if the songs are good enough and it sounds like they're really playing, I actually like it more than something that's over processed and sounds like a fucking computer playing.
sure.
So I could look past it and see what they're trying to attempt. And then sometimes that'll actually catch my attention more because everybody sounds the same whenever they're using the same program drum, the same fucking plugins for this, the same thing for that. Whereas this band, you actually get to hear their actual sound. That's their uniqueness and their life to it. So give me a shitty recording any day, man. I'll fucking I can look
But if
past
it's a
all
good
that.
song, that's what I was
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
at.
yeah. It's just, the song comes first. Now, I mean, you could have a badass recording, but the song sucks dick. You know what I mean?
100%. A great song is always going to shine
Yeah.
through a bad
Well,
recording.
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But all right, so
Because you record.
I wouldn't think that you're a production snob by saying what you just said. I feel like a production snob would just be like, no, it's got to be this plugin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
with this
yeah.
drum programmer.
I know. When I think of the term production snobs, like, so there's like the test. You listen on your phone. Jared always gives me
Right.
quality to where like, hey man, everybody's listening from their phone. How's it sound from here?
Try it in your car stereo. or
Right.
this
So
and
if you're in
that.
the car and when you listen to a playlist, you have one song it's like, damn, I got to turn this bitch all the way up to hear it. And then with somebody with actual money and a budget, you got to turn that shit down because it comes in right away.
Yeah.
Does that deter you from?
It wouldn't deter me, but I feel like a production snob probably wouldn't even give a local show the time of day just because they want to hear a certain thing
Right.
Yeah.
before they even go.
Yeah.
a lot of modern listeners, though, are getting to be that same way, though, because they're getting so used to the clean digital sound of over, like, whenever we record, I mean, they'll replace stuff. It'll be like a what do they call them? They're just, whenever they replace your snare with another snare.
Yeah, like the sound replacement and
Yeah.
triggers and shit. So it's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I even wasting my time playing on this shit for?
Right. I've talked to a band, like a younger band, and the drummer is actually programming the drums whenever they're recording. And I'm like, well, that's at least getting you into that part of it. You know what I mean? But like, they don't seem to be so hung up on it. But I do kind of, you know, I'll go to a local show and just be happy. I'm hearing all real things. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Or, you know, but there are a lot of people playing the tapes now too. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe-
it's a big thing. And
Yeah.
there was a
That's
young
even a big
band,
debate.
Right. They had to have their click track, and they had to have their samples and everything. And it's just like, I guess, a different era from when we started.
Right.
Because we never used to use any of
Right.
that stuff. But if they lost their in-ear monitor, they
Do
couldn't
you,
play.
are you guys like that? Do you play to a tape?
Damon Grimm started off with just like basic click track and like, you know, production in the click and rhythm guitar parts because we were 4-piece. And now we have a second guitarist. So we thankfully removed all that shit. And we're on a big in-ear rack, which I'm still trying to learn and understand. It is nice.
The in-ear stuff is cool, but like, are you guys still playing to like a recorded stuff?
So we have all these effects and shit, so we
Yeah.
have to play for it to be correct. But now that we have another guitarist, I'm enjoying it more because I'm so weird because I kind of hate playing to click because it's just like now you have to follow all these rules. You
Yeah.
have to. It's
Kind of-
always gonna sound the same. You can't like drag apart, you know, or like add some. If you want to add something in, you have to go do science at the band practice space first. and
Yeah.
it's so planned. There's no like organic moment.
Yeah.
And so what I love about live music, and I know, you know, I love that band and I enjoy playing. And the click has its pros and cons. But I'm also in another band, 610 Split, and we haven't played since like April, but we were playing a lot of local shows.
Well, my bassist, he saw you guys one time and said you guys were awesome though. 610 Split. So I know that.
Hell yeah.
But
I get to scratch that itch though because I'm on clicks and have all these like rules and stuff here, which I always try to do my vocals, you know, to the record, whatever. But I like to try different things live, give the experience live something different.
yeah.
But 610 was just like no rules. Our drummer's like, yo, I might drag this part for however long I want. When I do this though, we're going back in.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying? I remember we've played
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
this one song like 100 times, dude. And I remember one show. I think it was we got to open for Crowbar. It was pretty sick.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And we dragged this one part for like 16 bars, dude, for no reason. It's usually like 8, you know. So we
Right.
doubled it. But then our guitarist, young dude, 21, 10 years younger than me, absolute shredder, just like improvising just sick ass solo part over this kind of instrumental break that's a lot softer than the sound. I love that. Like when I go see a band and I know what you sound like on record, whatever, that's sick. But if you're giving me like, why am
little
I
bit
coming
more.
to see you live?
Yeah.
Because you might give me something a little different that's like
What is-
makes this experience a little more special.
Well, Jared always puts it best, and well, you're from the West Bank too, so I don't know why you never did it like this. But Jared calls it playing to the buzz. So you're not on the click, you play to the buzz, and you feed off the crowd.
100%.
Just going
yeah.
off what you said though, you said you dragged the part from 8 notes. What was the term you used? 8 notes.
Like 8 measures, 8 bars.
8 measures to 16. So you subconsciously had a click track.
Sean, the drummer, your drummer. You just following your drummer. You know, whatever. He's like
This in the band without the clicks.
Right, but he
was just giving an
he still-
example of how long they let it go.
Yeah.
But I was wondering with bands, even if they had clicks, you mentioned science, but I'm guessing it's math. No, I'm just kidding. Is there a way to where the you could set it to a certain part and stop it, and then whenever you're ready, because the clicks is all on
like
a
a kill
laptop or
switch
something.
or something almost.
Well,
Yeah.
just set it to a certain point to where it stops, and then all right, man, we got them. You know, how can you do it? I always thought, and Jared and I always talked about this. How can you feed off the crowd and do a wall of death? How can you tell them, all right, man, I want y'all to do this? Or, you know, like the bands that tell them to sit down and stand up or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You can't, in my opinion, unless you set it a certain way, you can't really have crowd participation to a click track. So we always say play off the buzz, because if the crowd ain't feeding you, man, let's just play, let's get off, this ain't our shit. But if they are, man, let's stop the song here. Y'all do this, let's do that. And then it relies actually on him. He is the human click track.
Right, of course.
In this situation, he's the drummer.
But I will say though, like, I think I see where you're about to get at with that, to where it's like, if you just know you got that one badass part, you fucking put that click just for a little while. It's like your rest point.
Right.
But then also what I think is cool, I mean, I just can't play live to a click because I don't trust the people I play with either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, it
totally lost.
It could be disaster. You know what I mean?
Oh, we've had our fair share.
But what I think is cool though is that you're a reliable band, because you know if your set time is 30 minutes and your shit's to a click, you know how long your fucking set is.
Yeah.
You know how much time you have. And I mean, honestly, that's what all the bigger bands do. That's what I think I applaud everybody that does that shit. I just can't do it, man. So, man, fuck y'all. I'm hating on y'all too. But
well, let's piggyback off of what Jarrett said. If you have a set time and you respect it, because that's one of my questions I'm going to get to later. If you have your click track set to a certain time, but your set is shortened, do you take the time to like respect it and figure out beforehand, or you get there and be like, oh shit, we only got 20 minutes. Then somebody has to get on that computer and Adobe and all whatever.
You can't fucking do it at the. If you're really good, we're all still learning a lot of stuff, so we need to plan here. So I actually texted my friend today about a show in February. I was like, how long's our set, dude? We have a 32-minute set right now. He's like, I try to keep the locals under 30. I was like, all right, we'll drop a song. So we'll rework it, take that song out, because we have all this extra bullshit with the in-ears too, that like there's pros and cons. Like now it's easier for the sound guy because we kind of just hand him like one or two things, like, hey, you just plug this in, like everything else is mic'd, ready to rock. But it's also a lot of shit, so I hate being that band. I always that's like taking too long to set up or too long to break down. So I'm the vocalist that's gonna fucking tear the shit off the stage. I also do stagehand stuff on the side, so it's just
it's in your blood.
I care about the flow of the show. I'm grateful for whoever put us on it. You gave us this time. Like, this is a business. Like, we need to fucking respect this. So let's do it. You know what I mean?
And how many bands you think in this area? We're talking about New Orleans. You're a New Orleans local band, New Orleans local band, New Orleans local band.
New Orleans local band.
How many bands you think respect that?
I think a lot try, but a lot of these venues run on what I'm sure y'all have heard, punk time.
And what you mean by that?
Punk time is the flyer says doors for 8, show for 9. The show starts at 10:30 on a Thursday night. And I got to wake up for work the next morning. I don't play till 1 a.m.
Yeah. So I'll piggyback on that. So I have one of my questions I wrote. No Doubt had I'm Just a Girl. Right. Whitney Houston had I'm Every Woman. Shania Twain said,
Man, I feel like a woman.
All right. So when it comes to so now that we broke the ice, when it comes to shows that have flyers that say doors at 8, show at 9, and the band doesn't start to 10:30, who's responsible? Is it the band? Is it the sound person? Is it the promoter, or is it the venue? Jarrett?
Well, I'll just tell you on like situations that I experienced this shit with. So you see that flyer and you're like, all right, if it starts at 8, let's just say like, are we saying doors at 8 or show at 8?
Well,
doors at 8. All right, we'll just keep it simple. Doors at 8. I don't want to fucking
think New Orleans.
All right. That's where
doors
I'm
at
at.
8. Shows supposed to start at 9.
So I guess just me not wanting to fucking have to tote shit through a fucking crowd, or hope a crowd's there, but fucking having to battle people and blah blah blah. Let's just say you get there about 6:30 with hopes. You know what I'm saying? That the shit's running on time. First thing you're going to run into is, where's the sound guy at? This motherfucker's going to come chirping his ass in at fucking God knows whatever time, take his fucking sweet time, probably doesn't even know half the bands that are even playing that night or what the fuck's going on, not giving a fuck if it's a touring band that has a fucking 12-hour drive the next day or whatever the fuck, and he's just going to dilly-daddle and they either say, well, wait for a couple more people to get here, or y'all start whenever y'all want. And then usually at that point, I don't give a fuck who shows up. Buzz is kind of killed. I'm looking at, hey, this ain't about me anymore. I want to just get this shit over with. You got a touring band here, and 3 other bands is about to play before this fucking poor touring band, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it starts mainly the bar has so much control, but not some, depending on where you're at. You know, it's all, every venue's different. It starts with the fucking sound guy. If you don't have a sound guy there, show can't happen, you know?
But going off of what your answer was, correct me if y'all heard him.
No,
I've
he
been in
nailed
that.
it.
I
He nailed it.
know, but I've been in that position. So what you're saying is it's the opening band's fault that it starts late.
Didn't say that at all. I'm saying it's
No,
the sound guy. You need the sound guy.
Well, you said the sound guy's giving you the option to start whenever.
I didn't
you
say
want.
it's not there yet. That's your
Oh.
first thing you run into. That's the first thing. I'm ready to start on time. I'm there on time. I'm saying you don't have a sound guy there. That's usually the first problem you run into. And it's very popular at a couple of New Orleans bars.
Oh yeah. Well, I would say, kind of guessing what you were saying. What I was bringing up, there was a couple of times where, when we say New Orleans, like I was telling you earlier, these guys have played all of them. New Orleans is actually broken up to like 3 or 4 parts.
Yeah, you have Metairie, you have New Orleans, you have like different parts of New Orleans too. You know what I mean? But to where it's like, I don't want to go too ahead of your shit or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you kind of know, you start getting familiar with certain bars to kind of know shit's full of shit. You know what I'm saying? You see 8 o'clock on that flyer, you're like, fuck it. But then I think the crowd also goes off of the example that they're fucking presenting to them. It's like, doors at 8. They're not going to get there until 10 because they're fucking hip to that. Like, hey,
Right.
The opening band's not going to play till this time.
Right.
Or I won't go to a show because I'm like, man, fuck this. I don't like that band that much to be getting home at 3 o'clock on a weeknight. And then they claim they play to different industries, you know, service industry crowd, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, how many fucking people work in that industry to hold a show that late where I think you're missing out on other people that would possibly go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always treat it to where, that's why I wrote this question down with 3 different bands, 3 different eras to play as an opener and a closer, to where just in general life, band shit aside, treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
How many times have you been the last band hoping the other guys play on time and respect their set time?
Right.
If you played the House of Blues, you played Southport, you played Cypress Hall with touring bands, when these professionals come in, they have it written down on how long you have, when you need to be finished, crossover time. Local shows kind of out the window. There's none of that. So playing in the New Orleans ones, you know, when we was ready to play on time with Deathcore, oh man, what y'all doing? Playing at 9. Well, it says we gotta play at 9. Oh yeah, man, but that means you play at 10. Well, we always would play. It's like, well, there's nobody here right now. Well, yeah, but there's still 3 bands after us.
Yeah.
We're still gonna play.
I've found lately, like Siberia, most of those places, the little bars that we play, it's like we start on time lately, and that's punk shows. It's like it'll be 9. We'll start, like the doors will be at 8 or something like that, but it'll start right at 9. Next band be over by like 11:30. It feels like,
Yeah.
which is good and bad. But I don't know. It's been surprising that the sound man's been there before my fucking drummer's been there a lot of times. You know what I'm saying?
Siberia's always seemed pretty solid with all that.
Yeah.
I have been to punk time shows there too, for sure.
Yeah, I have too, but just recently,
Yeah.
the ones we played probably in the last 6 months, everything seemed to have started
Sick.
right about on time, and the crowd showed up right when the first band played. Feels like the show's a whole lot more organized than it had
Yeah.
been in the past, even with the crowd. But maybe you guys don't see that at our shows. It seemed that way. I don't know. But
Also just depends on where you're at too. You know what I mean? I wasn't necessarily talking about Siberia. There's
Yeah.
another bar in New Orleans I was talking about. But and I even saw the situation where the headlining band who was going to smoke the shit out of everybody that played there was like, can we play second? Because we have to get on the fucking road. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh shit. You
they've
know?
already delayed the show anyway at that point, usually when they're
Right,
asking.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of y'all been part of a local show to where the band sees that the first band pulls more and then asks us to switch a spot because one of them has to wake up early?
Every show.
Yeah.
I've quit doing that. Like whenever somebody's like, I've got to wake up early in the morning. It's like, dude, we all got to wake up early. In the
Right.
morning.
But you
Like,
decided that there and you
Yeah.
saw like the crowd. and-
yeah. It's like, I don't know. You got depressed about the show, so
Right. Dude, 610 for a little while. We had to play we tried to play first or second because our bassist had to go to work at
Right.
10 p.m. So
Yeah, of
we would
course
just-
you want to get out of there.
he had to get out
Yeah.
of there, you know. We tear shit down.
Well, I always
Stick
assumed
around.
too, and that's why I always thought it was kind of whack. Not in your bass player situation, because I always thought he was nice. But Daniel, right?
Yeah.
You know your work schedule way ahead of a time than most probably than you booked a show.
Yeah.
So when arranging a show, which networking to me, when I bring up to guys that's been around longer, networking has since disappeared
Yeah.
in my head to where like you kind of could decide. Nowadays it's like so we're all New Orleans bands, so you will get a Baton Rouge band that will hit you up and say, hey man, we should probably play some shows sometime. Sure man, when you thinking? Or I already booked Twist a month ago and they said I need a local person. I was like, oh wait, how does that work? So there's no communication as far as like, hey man, I want to play a show with you, let's set up a date further hand or something like that. So I would feel like as far as like the work thing, you would know your work schedule.
We
before.
kind of threw him in the ringer, though.
Yeah, but I get it because not every job's flexible like that.
Yeah,
he
and I
was
give him
doing
props for
that.
still doing it too. So
He was painting rocket ships for the NASA Boeing.
yeah, so no
Thing
piss
up
ass
there.
local shows worth. You know what I'm saying? Putting
And how many kids he has? I mean, he's got
One.
Okay, he
but
has,
two, we were going crazy. We were booking way too many local shows and just like, dude, can you come?
I mean, I would
Dude, I
feel-
have to be gone by 9:30. I can make it from here to the east in this amount of time if we play.
and now since
We played Siberia without Danny because of work one time, and Alex just split his signal through a bass cab as well, and it kind of rocked. It was sick, but it wasn't as sick. But it was
Sick that you were able to do it.
We did it on the fly. Like
And
that
so-
day, we figured out.
and since Sean's workload picked up, how many shows have y'all played? No, I'm kidding.
0. It's okay.
All right, so with everybody involved, if I can,
Oh yeah.
first platform that y'all did promotion on,
MySpace for sure.
you was first MySpace?
Yeah.
So
Intangible Flyers counts as a platform. Let's just talk about first promo that you've done.
we were like before MySpace and all that stuff. I don't know if you consider it promotion, but we had like our own website, a forum, and NewOrleansBands.net. You remember that?
That's
We,
it.
That's
we were
promo-
trying to
that's
we were
promotion.
trying to promote that to get to the top of the list, but there was no social media when we first started off. It was
So
like
Tangible Flyers?
Wasn't there just like a one page like compute like a website you would go to for
Yeah.
New Orleans band? What was that?
It was like NewOrleansBands.net.
New
It had
Orleans,
like
okay,
It
yeah.
had an audio player.
Yeah.
And, it was like every week or every month it tracked amount of plays, and to us that was the big thing to do. I remember going to like fast food restaurants and stuff, putting up flyers like like he's talking about.
Tangible.
We broke into high schools when we were in high school and did that. We broke into like other high schools and put our flyers everywhere.
Right.
They'd probably be taken down before they like that morning.
Right.
We went through all that trouble to do it. But
Going to other shows with flyers.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing we used to do. And of course, once MySpace and all that stuff came out, it was like, it became easier. And now it's probably saturated. It's probably hard to get noticed, like on YouTube and all these other.
Yeah, now you got to
Twitter.
pay to promote yourself.
Yeah. That's,
Jared?
I'm old school Flyers because I didn't have a fucking computer till God knows when. I was late to the computer game, but no, we did Flyers and like we go to the mall and we were shy people, so that was an excuse to fucking talk to people. You know what I mean? It's like you would go up to like some chicks or something, knowing that they don't give a fuck about that shit, but you pass that flyer out to them, like conversation starter. But
Right.
I would say like kind of even having that old school method of handing out flyers, we made friends for life doing that with other bands and shit like that. Because you wouldn't have made that conversation with that person talking to them through social media. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like.
that's how YouTube met our drummer. He says he saw y'all at Gadzooks and y'all were passing flyers out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, I'm asking Jared these questions because I kind of know the answer. But him and I used to hang out of Gadzooks and Hot Topic, and anybody that looked like they'd be interested in our music,
Yeah.
we would give a flyer. But I also remember one of my first internet promo ideas, well, not ideas, but things we used to do to help the band. So now GarageBand is a recording software, but it used to be a thing to where bands could help bands with reviews. So in order for a band to review our music and it to go up the ladder, I would have to do 6 reviews of other bands. So for every 6 reviews, you earn a token for 1, and it puts you against a contest with certain other ones.
Pyramid scheme.
Yeah, I mean it kind of was, but I didn't go in there and be like, this song was awesome. This song was okay. I would give like the intel that I would want back. So every 6 I would do, we would end up in this little thing to where, you know, I mean, we had like a guy from Sweden that loved it enough and had a review site and put it on there. And then before we could, well, none of us had money or whatever. And our first website was agrafate.cjb.net. But it would have like the ads and
everything on the side.
Right.
But it just had that one fucking magical picture and maybe the bullshit logo or something like that. And it was like, man, we got a website.
I think my first band had a Blogspot website or something like that. You remember those? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the other one? Like GeoCities or something like that was another one?
GeoCities and Angel Fire.
Yeah.
It's even older than Blogspot, I think.
But they had people back then, and that's why I always give credit to where, like, I mean, you're in the band, but you're also doing stuff like this. He takes videos, takes pictures. There's always those unsung heroes that are helping push bands that aren't necessarily in bands. And at least Jared and I think Through It Was probably was in it too. We're lucky enough to find, what's the one that we went to the wrong Cafe du Monde? They wanted to interview us.
They were called Deathcore back in the day. That was
there Nola Junkies on one? Even George that does bass had a webzine. Like those kind of things. But we always lashed out into one of those. But I think that we were the ones that, like, so when Jared and I started, a lot of bands kind of didn't like each other for whatever reason. And we just liked everybody in a sense of, or they liked us back because we wasn't just trying to hop into a certain scene. We were legit fans.
Right.
We knew the words. We wore the shirts. We supported the band even if we wasn't playing. And that helped us, to me, I think, in a lot of shows and a lot of scenarios to where we got to get into bigger shows.
Made a lot of connections.
For sure.
Yeah, but we wasn't trying to. You know, some people network. We were legit fans.
Like, I don't think we had a motive behind it. That was the whole thing. It was no kind of like bullshitting to where it's like, hey, I'm just going to go to your show just so hopefully you could come to mine kind of thing. It was.
I would do it genuinely, but I made sure they saw me. They had the show, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would legitimately want to see the band, but it'd be like, hey, dudes, I came. You remember me? I came, you know, that kind of thing. I want them to see the one show I went to that 2-month period, or,
right,
or whatever.
Just remember that face right there.
Yeah, came for Christ's sake. But I wanted to ask, you guys are getting back together. Your band's getting back together for how long has it been since you guys have played?
9 years since the last time we got back together.
Which was your
birthday show.
31st birthday at Twist the Line.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. I went back to somebody's Facebook page, had it advertised. I guess it was your band.
Yeah,
had it advertised.
I see it pop up on mine too, and that's how we knew it was 9 years because it's been so long. But before that, it was probably another 4 or 5 years.
What's it been like playing with the guys again?
It's been real great. You know, everybody's got their own thing going on now.
Yeah.
So it took a while to get our schedule down and get back to practice, but you know, after a couple weeks, it's like back in the swing.
Do you find yourself writing new songs in the band, or is it just like the old songs feel like new songs?
So it all feels new because we switched from 6 strings to 7-string guitars, and just that alone gives it a different feel.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that he approached us with this because about 3 years ago, I had wrote a bunch of songs, and I tried to convince everybody to get like a recording project going on.
Right.
And it just kind of like fell through. But since we got this going, I already had a whole bunch of brand new songs. So, you know, I went to them and everybody threw a little input on it. And it's kind of a new thing. Maybe I'd say it's more structured. Because when we were playing, it was like no choruses, just a bunch of riffs, just a bunch of, you know, cool sounding stuff. But now it's like
you're trying to write songs.
Like a little bit of structure, writing a
Yeah.
song. Exactly.
What have you been doing for the 9 years? Have you been playing in other bands, or have you just?
I played in a couple other bands. It was some newer people, so I didn't have like intentions on playing shows, just something to have fun and kill time. But you know, as I get more gear, I want to try it out, maybe write a few songs. Didn't have any aspirations to do more than like a recording project,
Right.
you know.
And there's no after this. There's no more gigs. You don't think? Well, it's
Be put on the spot.
Is it through what? Is it through what was?
Through what was.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious, just because I couldn't imagine, to be honest with you, if I'm thinking back 9 years in the band I used to be in Bad Moonlander, we were a 3-piece, but by the end, I was the only person left that started the band. You know.
Right.
So if I would think about those members that were 9 years ago and us to get back together, it probably would not go well, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm so you guys have all stayed really close friends and
I
everything.
will say, yeah, we all had good connections with each other. Before the band split up, we were probably together 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
But so they're talking about doing another show. I think.
Yeah, see, I knew
But I would say for the sake of this conversation here, I think this is the only time any of these bands are probably playing this year.
Yeah.
So this would be the chance to see them on January 25th.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying,
Yeah, exactly.
For the sake of the
He's
conversation.
trying to keep the subject right on the show. I got it. I like that. Okay.
You may never
See-
see these guys again, ever. Not even
Yeah.
outside their house. Like, not even running into them
You
in
know-
houses. So if you got anything
true.
to tell them in person,
Gotta go here
Southport
to
Hall
Yeah.
is the place to.
Don't
I think
take
that's
it
what
for
he was.
granted.
I think that's he was right, Jared.
What?
That's exactly what I was
because
saying.
you got 1
Yeah,
year out.
That's exactly what I was
That's
saying.
it.
All right. No, I was just curious though, because like I said, like if I had that long of a break and then I went back, it'd probably piss me off to get in the room with guys I started.
There
with.
might be a recording project, and there might be a show in Mandeville.
Yeah.
Later down the line.
Very
But maybe
cool.
that's purely speculation.
Purely speculation. This is the show to worry about.
So this is one of the questions I had lined up too. So prior, Damon Grimm has just started playing again. So before this show, when was the last one? Or,
For us.
Well, because y'all kind of took a break. I know y'all been kind of gigging. You got one with Swamp Stink coming up.
That's tomorrow.
Oh shit!
Baton
Awesome.
Rouge.
All right. But prior to that, y'all played
Mid City
with.
Ballroom.
Chelsea's.
Oh, cool.
Which I'm stoked on.
Very
I've always
cool.
wanted to play there.
But it was a hiatus before the show's back.
Yeah, Grimm's had a weird little run because we started. It was myself, Brock, Brandon, and Eddie, and then we had Eddie left. We got Nick Moore on bass, and then I'm pretty sure our friend Eric Bourgeois filled in for a show. Do y'all remember him? He was in Variants back in the day.
Tall guy.
Yeah. I don't know if he's eye level or not, but and then anyways, our last show was in August at Southport. We've been house band at Southport lately, so I'm excited to play somewhere else tomorrow before we go back there.
Where you going for your next show after tomorrow?
Dude, there's a weird Shreveport show allegedly on the table. I'm just trying to get those details filled out before we drive all the way out there,
And-
but if not.
And
it's all
Jared,
good.
you've been playing with Gora.
Yeah, but my last show was actually with Raise the Death Toll, and when was that? The Set It Off Fest. That was
That was June, I think.
Oh, okay.
it was hot. I remember that.
Well, I guess the question that I had written down to where, and I guess you kind of answered it, kind of didn't. So you had obviously life happens. You got 4 different people. I guess we'll start. This will be to my left. Why now? Why 2025?
That I'm still
With this project of your first band ever.
because I had a member of that band come up to me and ask me if we wanted to get together and play his birthday show.
But you're also recording, though.
Yeah. So it started off to where.
And mention where you're recording at and with who.
All right, so it started off where me and the bass player would just be working out on a Saturday morning. So whenever Philip came to us and asked us about it, we were just kind of bullshitting along. It was like, I want to say you asked us, was that like December of last year maybe or January? I know it was pretty early.
Well, I thought I did it. I'm gonna have to use the bathroom too. Get it going. But Raise the Death Toll played a 39th one, and that one was like a turnout of all local bands, and kind of surprising. You and Shane came. I thought that was cool because y'all, after you kind of left, y'all never really came to none, but you came for my birthday, and I really appreciate that. And I was like, man, look how this is.
We went for the opening band.
Oh, I forgot which one opened up the first thing. Was it Good Zombie that played first?
And don't put me on the spot.
Oh.
But
No, with Devin on the drums. What's his band called? I know they got a weird name.
Phallic Laceration.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like,
Amazing.
man, I was just on like the high of the moment. I was like, dude, the next one is 40.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do Aggravate. And I guess it was easy to convince y'all. Y'all was on the high of it too, it felt like. And y'all said, yeah. I'm like, all right, we got to ask the other ones. But we have a guitar player.
I said yeah because the bass player said yeah. So once he said yeah, I was like, all right, if he's doing it, I'll do it. We have drum and bass like tag team, man.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
What they always say,
he also plays drums too, so it's like it's better than me too.
If you're not rhythm, you're not with him. But the bass player used to be in his band before it turned into what it is now. But just on the high of it all, I brought it up, and the biggest thing that I thought would have been weird or obstacle is the guitar player lives in Florida, and he was gung-ho about it for most of the year to maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah, because he caught a bunch of hurricane shit and stuff like dodging storms hit and all that stuff, and just kind of realized he couldn't do it. He started a new job and whatnot. I mean, he has wife, kids, all that stuff, so. But yeah, I guess going back to the beginning of the year, so me and the bass player, we were like, well, fuck it. We haven't played these songs in obviously 9 years. So we're just going to go ahead and start drum and bass practice. And let's try to get it to where, whenever everybody does get back in the room, we're not all trying to figure it out because that would just be a big old clusterfuck. You know what I mean? So we started doing it. And then we realized that we had
no,
this should be a one and done.
It's the best part of the podcast so far.
But we were like, let's start getting together early and shit. Then we realized that it's a lot easier to record now. We know more people to record. So I was like, dude, what about re-recording some of these old songs? Because when we did it, we used to have to play the songs all in like one take kind of shit. Different people in separate rooms. It sounded like fucking shit. We played them like shit. You know what I mean? It was like totally could hear our age during that time and whatnot. Because I think whenever we recorded those, I was maybe like 18 or 19, because it's like the second generation of it. So we were like, started kind of getting excited, like, yeah, fuck it, let's knock out a couple goals while we're going to be together, you know what I mean? So we went with Brian from Paris to record the drums and basses we have down. I actually just did that shit this past weekend. So we recorded 7 of the old songs. So finally played them to a click track and whatnot, and then realized we have a bunch of rip soup to where it was just like 20,000 parts in one song with different tempo changes and time signatures, whatnot, and all that stupid shit. And so it's been fucking fun. So
who'd you guys get to play guitar?
Oh, we have another guitar. It's actually 2 guitar players in the band.
Okay.
So the other guitar player, Josh, we hooked back up with him maybe about 2 months after we started practicing together, drum and bass, and then we started working with him. So he's been with us the whole year or whatever. So it was easy to kind of keep it to where it was just, drum, bass, and vocals, with the practicing. So yeah, Josh was there the whole time with us. And then he started throwing around some newer songs, new ideas and shit, because he has his own recording stuff at home. So he was doing that part. So what we ended up doing was we have a friend that's also in Raise the Death Toll, a fellow West Banker. So we asked Gavin if he wanted to fill in on guitar. So we've been working him in, and he's going to be playing the show to take Rizzo's spot. That was the other guitar player that can't make it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know if that was common knowledge or not. I was going to hint around that.
Oh, well, I mean, when does this come out?
Next week.
I think about a week.
Yeah, it'll be out next Thursday. So this will be Thursday morning next week.
So 37?
Yes.
How old are you?
40.
All right, I'm about to be 40 and 30.
31.
All right, so
45. No one gives a shit about me, though.
It's all down.
I thought he'd have been the one that was 45.
Well, chime in if you want, man. Thanks for coming to my podcast.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So with you being the younger and us being the older ones, and how promo has changed, and in a sense of which kudos to y'all. I saw you had your art designer there at practice with you
Oh
to
yeah, that
draw,
dude is sick.
but to draw what he felt with the songs.
Right.
So with you being younger, and I'm not sure. I know you do the photos and this and that. Or is everybody AI, or we hiring people? How we doing art now?
So we hired people for sure back in the day, and now since I've been doing a lot of the video and photography work, I'll try to take a lot of that under my wing, and I'm like a super mediocre graphic designer. So if anything, I'll kind of give out a rough idea and then shoot it to somebody that's like actually good with the programs.
But not AI.
Not AI, no.
How does Dead Spies do it?
Earl tries to sneak in some AI. Actually, he does a lot of it when we do flyers and stuff like that, because I think you can just kind of throw in an idea and just crank it out quickly, and we don't have to have a conversation about anything and look through 3 or 4 pictures. But I'd actually rather do it the other way. But I've actually never done anything in AI. I'm so far behind on it that it's ridiculous. I haven't looked into Chat GPT or any of that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah,
if you
that'll
guys
just get me in trouble. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, just making porn on it.
Well,
Give her bigger titties.
Well, that's what I was asking with, like, a bunch of old school guys. The one thing that I think that you can't get with AI that I've noticed, and maybe I'm just doing it wrong or looking at it wrong, is not cohesive. You know, at least if you get somebody to draw it, there's a color scheme.
Right.
There's a rhyme and reason. When you use AI, sometimes it'll accidentally misspell it. It may not capitalize certain things.
It's not good with words.
Or cohesiveness. Like it'll definitely give you the image you want, but as far as like the logos that go over it, your band, and even at that point, if you have a black or purple background flyer, should try to color tone the logos to add some cohesive, like make it look
Like it all belongs together.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like with Gore, we hired this guy from whatever country he's from, somewhere on the map, you know what I mean? But like, we basically gave him the early copies of the songs and shit, and we just told him, all right, draw whatever you think you hear, you know? Yeah. So I still like the old school art, but I'm not one of those people that shits on people that uses AI, because I mean, anything that's that's convenient for you, that works for you, I don't give a fuck, man. Do your thing.
Well, that's where it goes back to, I personally won't do it, but production snobs. Like, man, if somebody is like, there's a bunch of young kids, I just love the scene. I just love people just trying it, because I was a young kid at one point ages ago, to where I still try to these young kids that are doing it, that are door dashing or whatever it is maybe, that's giving them their little bit of cash, and they're just making the songs the best they can, and they're so excited that they're not waiting for the budget or to be able to afford Brian from Pears or High Tower or OCD, and they're just putting it out. I love that kind of shit.
Yeah, why, baby?
You know? So at the same time, I feel like that, to be a anti-production snob, you can't be a art snob as well, but just kind of have it kind of match, or, you know, almost personally rather a doodle than I don't know how I'm trying to explain it.
Right, but you know, at the same time, though, this is why I kind of don't give a shit, because it's like, okay, how many albums are you really buying? Like, realistically, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if it's not on a big old actual vinyl, you know what I'm saying, and you're looking through the artwork and all that shit, it's on this little bitty fucking square on your goddamn Spotify, you're going to sit there and throw a fucking hissy fit because this band did something to AI to where it's like, I don't even know what album covers look like anymore, dude. I put the fucking album on, I listen to it. There's no liner notes. There's no nothing I'm reading. If I'll go Wikipedia the band,
right,
and I'm not going to fucking shit on somebody because they did the album artwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
I'm not in a store anymore, like trying to, like, you know, visual, like, you know, hey, is this artwork going to catch my attention? You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for like a Cannibal Corpse looking artwork thing to go, hey, I know what I'm about to get right here. You know what I mean? But I do like good artwork at the same time too. I can't completely,
it
you know,
sells the package.
Yeah, and it's, especially if I'm looking at it on something big or something like that.
I still buy vinyl. Like, I try to. If your band has vinyl, I want one. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
me too. I have a bunch of
cool. I love getting colored ones now.
I have a bunch of unopened local bands vinyl, though. If I'm 100% honest, like, you know what I mean. I want to listen to it more often than I actually do.
Right.
Like, I buy it with the intention of listening to it, and then listen to the same 5 Black Sabbath albums over and over again.
Right. So AI, I will say on AI, the one thing that is kind of cool or interesting is, like, if you have an original idea and you are somebody that may be able to create things, and you want to visualize and have a reference for something you've never seen before, and you can spit it out, and it gives you this crazy image, which anytime I've ever put something into AI, I'm like, this looks like fucking AI. I can tell. His fingers are weird. His cloak is part of his skin somehow, you know? But to like visualize an idea, like I draw. I'm like okay at drawing. But it is kind of a cool tool to visualize your idea and be like, all right, well, now let me make this like my own. It's kind of like, I mean, as a musician, you hear your favorite band, you're like, well, I want to sound like that. How can I make that my own?
Yeah.
You know? So it's nice to that, but there's, I don't know. It's weird, dude. It can be just as bad as it is good.
Oh, well, I wasn't saying it wasn't bad. I was just saying, I guess I'm going back from like, I guess when we all started to where it is now.
Yeah.
To where
I'm not putting out anything AI, but I might reference a drawing. You know what I mean? So I can get my idea, like, does that even make sense? So I like to look at pictures when I draw.
Because going back to Jared's point, which I don't even pay for any streaming sites, which you think I would.
Yeah.
I only have Spotify due to putting out music on DistroKid, and I had to make a Spotify profile. And I still have an iPod. I still put music on an iPod. But I realize a lot of bands now don't even put their name or album name on the artwork that's on Spotify.
Really?
Yeah. Are you on Spotify? What do you listen to music on?
I usually use Pandora and YouTube.
Spotify, yeah.
I'm a Spotify and I pay for it, man. So I still support bands.
All right, this is a left curve because I want to ask this. And
Oh, yeah.
TJ, I feel like I'm supposed to be
No,
the co-host.
no.
But-
Hey, it's fine with me. I don't know shit about these bands. I'm
Well, no,
fucking
but
learning.
this would be a question for you, though, but I want nobody to think. I want to be able to point and you just say a number. I'll start with you since it's your show.
Okay.
How many, so you're in Dead Spies.
Yeah.
How many former band members you think you've had all together?
Oh,
you thought
in
too
this
long.
band? In this
Yeah.
band? Oh,
Thought too
it's
long,
all the
Jacob.
same.
3.
Through what was?
Yeah.
7.
Aggravate? Fuck.
Not too long.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, like, over time,
6.
nobody.
Oh, 8.
Oh, shit.
Probably
8.
about 6.
8?
Forgot about Derek.
Wait, I've been knowing through, not Shudder. I'm just talking about Through It Was.
Shane, Josh. Oh, you know what? You're right. It's
Shane-
6. Yeah.
Was Shane in Through It Was? He was in Shudder.
No, Shudder. You're right. 6.
6?
Derek, because you got to count Derek.
This dude's a dirtball, by the way. When he's leaving out, is that he took half of their band members, man.
That's the
He was
problem.
in the band.
Y'all can
though.
have them. They were the problems anyway.
It was either take
that.
it was either take Josh or y'all was going to beat him up. So
Nah.
6.
Protecting Josh over here.
Who?
Yeah.
Other than Derek, who I don't know who else was in Through It Was that left. You're saying 6 people was in Through It Was that's no longer in Through It Was?
Oh, well, then just one. I thought you meant total. Because there's 5 in the band and then 1 that left.
Oh no, I'm talking about just former members. Period.
2. I lied because
Nick and PJ.
PJ. Everybody else that left came back, and then we added a guy.
I don't even care enough to really double check the number. It's about 6.
So in the history of Aggravate, you saying 6?
I think it was 6 altogether.
So Kenny, Mike,
Mr. Derek,
Eddie.
J-Ro, Eddie, you.
damn man, you're gonna leave out Anthony, bro.
Oh, fuck yeah. So 7 counting you.
With Eddie? Well, you said Eddie.
One of them did. Thanks
Did
for
you ever
reminding
finally
me.
came to an answer?
0. Nobody else. Still the same 3 people in the band.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's rare. That's rare.
Well, it's only been
Hey,
together 2 years.
I got
My
a
other
question
band
for
broke
Matt
up.
real quick, and I thought about this, and I
Yes.
called Shane the other day,
Uh-oh.
and he just laughed. So okay, so you know how Shane quit Shudder to come to us, right?
Right.
So y'all were practicing at his place, right? Mm-hmm. Did he let y'all stay for a little while? He was like, "I'm leaving, and y'all are too."
No, we stayed there and we paid rent for a little while.
All right. So he didn't have an answer. He just laughed. He's like, "What? You know, kind of like, why the fucking, you know?" It was a random question one day. So I'm like, "Hey, how much of an asshole are you?"
We paid rent for like a real short time, and when Daniel joined the band, his dad had a room at that. What was the name of that place with the super steep ramp? You ever been there?
In
in New
Mid-City.
Orleans or
In New
whatever?
Orleans,
With that
in the
really
city.
nice studio?
Yeah.
I played
I
my
don't
first
know.
show at Bayou there. I forgot what the fuck it was called. But
Once
yeah.
we had access
Studio
to that
something,
room.
right? Wasn't like Studio 2 or some shit? Or
That sounds like
Was it the one where you could drive a car up into the sketchy second floor?
yeah, and it was a bunch of columns and shit. And you
Yeah.
felt like you were gonna hit it and take the whole building down.
for sure.
Yeah,
I've been there before. That place
so
is
we
crazy.
paid rent with Shane for a short time, and then we went to Daniel's dad's room, and then Fontainebleau.
That's a good question. I didn't even think about that far. I was surprised we got Shane.
me too.
I was very excited.
He's probably surprised.
Well, no, he had a more. He was the only one at that time with a real job, and we were just a bunch of kids that was like scrounging up money to either buy a nickel bag or a case of beer. But either way, it took us at least 2 weeks to scrounge up enough money for either.
Was he welding? He was welding.
Yeah,
at
he
that
was
time.
welding.
Yeah.
He might even been at like
he,
that.
He had his own
Just
vehicle.
getting into it.
He had a vehicle in his own name, and we was hustling rides from parents.
Harassing the lady at the daiquiri store.
Well, that's a whole different story. Let's see if I have any.
Did you get to all your questions?
Oh no, not even yet. So while we run out of time, I think
We could do another 5 to 10 minutes, but I think we're probably coming
Okay.
close to that.
All right.
He AI generated too many questions.
Should have been on the click track.
Well,
Yeah,
one of the things I thought of too with bands, I say bands, we're in the same one, and a lot of them is like, so we're in 2025. Is this your first one of this year?
Yeah,
So I
it'll
think
be
this
the
would be
first one.
like an appropriate question to where, so from being in the band at that time to now, and then coming back, were there any goals or things that you had met that you didn't complete or didn't accomplish that you're hoping to do again, or that you're hoping to do, or has that time passed? And if not, what are the goals going forward this year? Now being older, having real jobs, houses, mortgages, what are the goals musically going forward?
My goal was to have the guys collaborate on these new songs that I had written, which again I tried to get them to do a few years back. That's all I really wanted, and I'm happy to just do that.
Were you saying that's a goal? So are their careers, home lives, kids, whatever, holding that back, or does it seem like it's feasible?
It seems like it's possible, but there's got to be some give and take on when we get to practice. You know?
Man, they're going to see this podcast too. They're like, he's talking about me.
I tell them the same thing. I'm not saying anything I wouldn't tell them.
I'm
you
joking.
know.
Right. So I guess just going from you, because I would like answers from both of y'all. Are these things you're bringing forth to them, and how's that approach being accepted? Or are you being the father? Are you being like the man? I thought we was playing this one show, this and that. Like, are you adding a new? Are you piling on more than what their lives at the moment are already taken?
I don't think so. I think they want to play more shows in the future, whereas I initially thought this was just the reunion show. So maybe they have bigger goals than I do.
You need another one?
I'll take another one.
Yeah, let me get a flight, brother.
Well, because you need another one
Can I
too.
catch a
God
flight?
damn it! Because I would always feel, and like I said, so I'm trying to include y'all because I almost could read Jarrett's mind, and me and him's always on the same one. I always feel like, even though we're at an older age, when it comes to band stuff, now this ain't work. This ain't your personal relationship. This ain't your landlord. When you're in these kind of situations, a lot of what you spoke about, since you're the only one that answered, should go without saying. There's a lot of things in life that common decency, common this and that. Hey man, I'm in this sort of relationship with you. I'm in this workspace with you. A lot of things should go without saying. But you said it. So do you feel like what you said should have gone without saying, or are you the one that has to say it? Because you said you wrote the songs 3 years ago, you wanted to push it, you wanted to do these things, but it wasn't until this show that all the things that you was pushing for is finally coming into place. Do you?
Well, maybe I'm the one that had to say it because I tried in the past, and for whatever reason, you convinced everybody else for me.
Well, I've only talked to Daniel.
Yeah, but there's a group text message we always have, and once they were approached with that, all of a sudden everybody was on board. So I don't know. I'm glad that this is going on, and we're probably finally gonna get that recording and everything.
But do you still feel like there's certain things that still aren't goes without saying?
No, I don't think so. We've had plenty of conversations about everybody's got their own life, and this is how much effort they can put in.
Because I would say, how would you say you were?
31.
40, 37.
45.
We're at the point now to where, and we're men still in this world, and with Trump as our president, men are more men now than before.
All right, this show's about to end right now.
What I'm getting at, and I'm sure I can speak for all of us, we're not going to do what we don't want to do. So we can make up excuses, we can make all these things or rhyme or reason, but if we really want to do something, there's nothing stopping us from doing what we want to do, whether it's being in a band, taking up a hobby, this and that. Do you feel like everybody's 100% or?
I guess 100% and with times available for them, Because, some of our guys got, 2 kids. One of them lives across the causeway. So one of them lives in New Orleans East. I understand it's difficult for everybody to get on that same page.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So he has a daughter. Right. Awesome. But whatever he wants to make time for, he can make time for. You have kids?
I do. I have 2.
2. But whatever you want to make time for, you can make.
I have an agreement with my wife that is I've been probably overusing for a long time here. But like anything with the band, like I can have a band. This started way before we had kids, because she was begging for children, and I was like, I just want to kind of keep playing music, and she's like, well, we can do both, and we've managed to do it that way, and just respect each other and stuff like that. Because you can give. I want to do way more music than I do, but I try to be as good of a father as I can be as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But in my mind, if I had the opportunity, I would not work. I would stay at home, fucking around with the guitar parts and recording and things like that, and making music, and that would make me super happy. But so even I can understand where, like you were asking, is everybody giving 100%? You're giving as much as you can give. And keep your comfort level, at a certain level. You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't mean like 100%. Like, so I have a son, and I work offshore. I'm gone 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I'm home, in my head, I have all these projects. I want to do this and that, but also don't want to be selfish, because he, at his age, still wants to hang out with me,
dude.
Before he ends up like these delinquents over here that wants to be in a band.
If looking from your Facebook page has anything to do, it looks like you've spent a lot of time with your son, and it's quality time or whatever. So it's really cool. So I like that.
And I appreciate that. And I would say, like, I would still give 100%, trying to. We practice at my house, to where. So right now he's not in school. He's off on the winter break, or I guess still the winter break. I feel guilty as shit going back there, tracking a song, doing whatever, because he wants to do my singing monsters, this and that. So I don't want to say, like, if they're hanging out with their family, not 100%. I guess. Well, I feel like I'm picking on you. What are your goals for 2025? Are you getting this album out? How you pronounce his name? Jonathan what?
Dolis.
Yeah. Because the album's not out.
No, we've been slowly putting it out, but yeah, that's a main goal. I've been taking over doing the videos lately, so that's been cool. I get to like learn, kind of bringing the DIY spirit into the click track band, which is nice. But yeah, we need to get the shit out, dude. I think it's sick, but I'm like over it at this point because it's so goddamn old. But yeah, it'd be nice to get the band to a point to where it can be self-sufficient enough to at least pay for our room down the hall. And like, you need a pack of strings, the band can pay for it. Like, just self-sufficient is the ultimate goal. Anything past that is I'm eternally grateful for,
All right. Well, with that said, do you, as a band, I guess a local band, do you have a guarantee? or you just take door, or sometimes you probably get paid and just accept it and just walk out, right?
That's kind of where we're at right now. Yeah.
So how would you get to that point, you think?
So I guess we'd probably have more of a guarantee once we start traveling, and it can't just be like, oh fuck, can somebody give me a ride home? We ran out of gas. You know, if I'm going to play a show 8 hours away, we need to cover gas and need to feed my boys. You know what I mean? And then so on and so forth.
Well, with that said, do you think you have more of a following elsewhere or here?
For sure here.
Then why wouldn't you ask for a guarantee here if you know for sure people are going to come? That way you could pay for...
Because we love our city, dog. Because we love our city, dog.
Hey, I got a question. I don't know how much time we have left. I don't want to.
This next part will be on Patreon.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm pretty much. I'm still in the game, but I'm out the game pretty much to where it's like, just doing a reunion show and blah, blah. And even with the other band I'm doing, I don't want to put forth this effort. So I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying like you have expenses that you named, right?
Yeah.
And one thing, if I could go back and tell younger self is I would have made the band I was in a LLC and I would have treated it like a business.
Working on it.
Okay, cool. That was just my only you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's so easy to write shit off and to ask for just little things from the venue and shit. To where if I could go back and tell younger self, run it like a legit fucking business and fucking get some of that money back.
100%.
But all right, that was my question on that.
Yeah, we're working on that, getting everybody on board.
And Jarrett talked about that forever. So not to flex, but last year we played House of Blues with Carnifex, but they did a Willie Nelson program.
Yeah.
To where, which we didn't think we was going to get it. But every band that played got $1,500.
Oh wow!
You got $750 in gas cards and $750 in cash, and they promised us $100, so we ended up with $1,600. But because it was an LLC and I gave them my Social Security to do my taxes, they taxed the shit out of me at the end of the year because all I told them was like, well, I don't want to get in trouble. All I did was pay for stickers and shirts.
Right.
So even with that, it raised. But I think when you're an LLC, you get so much losses for what?
Yeah, you got to just show you're spending more money than what you're making, basically, to keep it short.
Because you got taxed off your personal income for that show. Oh fuck! Damn. Yeah. See, exactly. LLC just protects everybody too in certain aspects.
But there's certain things you got to keep up with too. So you got to look at it as the business part too.
Just get one card and buy everything on the one card. And you have all your shit in one place, and you just turn that in the end.
Exactly. We were thinking even if like somebody needs a new guitar, use the band card. But you're solely responsible for covering your guitar. But we'll save you and it'll help the band.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
definitely.
saying?
You got a couple years of doing that, and then bankrupt the band, and
we're recording.
Yeah. We'll cut that part.
But I feel like we're still going good. I think as long as it's interesting, people are still. So we got old heads, young head, but you are old head.
I'm medium head.
I'll start going like this.
Medium head.
Just from what you've seen, and I'm just talking from a local standpoint. And maybe drop some knowledge on some kids with some old. What do you think local bands? I'll start with this with you, Jared. What do you think they should keep doing, and what do you think they should stop doing?
I think what they need to keep doing is playing, obviously, and creating material. That's the whole thing. Keep on writing and keep on, because it's music first. You know what I mean? So keep up with that aspect. Keep trying to. Keep playing and start networking with people. Stop trying to have these unachievable goals and realize that you're a small fish in a big sea and just have fucking fun. And you need to go watch Pantera Vulgar Videos 3 and learn how to have some fucking fun. That's what got me started. I watched that more than when I practiced. So I wouldn't say that's a good or a bad thing, but learn how to have fun. Stop taking yourself so fucking serious. Until this shit is paying your bills, don't give a fuck, man. Just keep on writing. It's music first. Make friends. Just have the time of your fucking life, man, and then it'll eventually come to you, hopefully.
See, with the piggyback off of that, and maybe we all, because I feel like bands ain't having fun no more.
Yeah, or it's like...
It's too serious. I mean, and you do content more than I feel like music comes out. Do you feel like nowadays it's more content than music? Because you need product. I feel like if I would start a pizza place... I would have the flyers. I would have my logo. I would have a mascot. I would have everything but the fucking pizza. They try to sell it, but nobody's making songs. They're just...
So you're saying do the gimmick?
Well, no, I'm saying don't do the gimmick.
Oh, okay.
If you're playing music for the sake of playing music, I was even thinking when the glitz and glamour of being in the band fades, you're either going to quit or you're going to start having fucking fun. As he said, make music, have fun making the music, but don't make music for a quick grab, for a quick reel, for a quick TikTok.
Have integrity, do it for yourself. But I will say something good about his band. I can honestly say that y'all keep the old school spirit alive. Is I know if I pull up to a show or somewhere and I run into either you or your band members, I'm going to have fun. Y'all are some cool fucking dudes. That's like one of the far and few of some of the newer bands that I see to where it's like, y'all still interact with people to where I think social media ruined people. They're so used to talking to each other either through their phones or whatever the fuck. Whenever they finally get in person, they don't know how to fucking act. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've actually had meet a band on the internet and you're talking to them. We're going to be at the show and like we're all shy, not talking to each other. And
you have that weird disconnect.
To bring us closer, but it just
you need a fucking flyer. Go pull one off the wall and give it to them and fucking break the ice with them.
Nah, fuck it.
Well, I know everybody. Well,
you should give bands you play with flowers from now on.
Flowers and flyers, man. That's the.
There you go.
Well, the thing is, I feel like now if there's not much content, there's no proof in the pudding in a sense. To where like I see a few videos from you. Jared practices at my house. They're there every Sunday from like noon to 8.
Yeah.
They don't post about it. Nobody knows about it. But Damon Grimm, Lacey is posting.
Lacey's
an MVP. Like he's the reason why I like your band. No,
that's fair. He's the new guy too, so he must not have liked us for a long time.
I've always liked y'all, but the proof is in the pudding there. But sometimes, in the sense of like, man, does lack of content make the band less? I
don't know. There's kind of a mystery to it.
I like that. Yeah.
So check this out. I feel like metalcore should be called metalcorp now, and I'm in a fucking metalcore band. And we try to lean away from it a little bit. And I love a lot of metalcore. Grew up loving metalcore, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like it's too... Sometimes that's where the less fun is, I feel like, in metalcore. When I go to, like... A lot of bands I play with are, like, just no-click, punk rock, sludgy. Like, I feel like the New Orleans scene... all I can speak from is that. But all these younger bands, dude, they're having fucking fun.
Oh yeah,
they're having fun, and there's content, but it's just people posting shit on their stories. They don't even have like music out, or whatever they're playing live isn't the band that they used to be on the internet. Like in a few cases, like I feel like I don't know if it's just, I'm sure it's like this in other places too, but a lot of the younger kids after COVID, dude, started all these bands, and they're like fucking cool bands, and it sounds. I can see them having fun, and like that sells it to me as like a listener too, and it makes the show more fun. Like I want to feel the experience, Well,
that's why I was going back with the production style. But you're saying younger kids, where in New Orleans, when we're all New Orleans bands, can these kids have their trial and error where they can meet like-minded people? We all came up with Cypress Hall, MVC, Dark Room,
There's
Underground
the free
Scene.
store now.
Free store, Parasite, Skate
Parasite,
Park.
definitely Parasite.
Yeah. Well, Parasite I saw kids, but I went to the free store and didn't see one kid.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't exactly want to send my kid there.
Yeah.
I had to convince my mom to go to fucking Fat City, brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like she was like, "You want to go do what with that crazy shit you listen to?" I don't know about that. That's why it took being in a band to be like, I have to go. Yeah. I'm required to be here.
What was the question I asked you? You didn't get to answer it.
What should bands now do? I'm so far out of the scene. I don't know. I feel like you kind of hit on something, I think, about more content than music. Is that what grabs people's attention now? Because...
Well, you got to think, so somebody said, and touch on this, TJ, and one too. You were thinking, some people like, well, the scene's not a competition. You shouldn't be competing with other bands. You need to be joining with other bands.
Right.
But nowadays, when you make a video, he makes videos. I try to. I finally subscribed to CapCut. I enjoy fucking doing it. I enjoy trying to make lyric videos. But you're not just competing against other music. You're competing against that girl that's shaking her ass for 5 seconds.
No, you're never gonna beat that.
Yeah, you're competing with the guy that just faked somebody on the street.
But you got to find a way to stick out, though.
Well, how are you going to compete against it? Because when you're on the internet, that gets the more pulls. So like you're not just on a musical site. If you're
And you're fighting the algorithm.
yes.
Yeah.
So if you're on Facebook, there's no specific platform for just music content. You're on this content where it's like drama wins. Somebody getting run over by a car wins. Somebody scamming somebody, a dog eating another dog, a monkey beating up a tiger. I'm just saying this like spitballing.
Nature is metal.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So how are you competing against that? Because not a lot of people. You have to be. So we all play music. Him and I every Friday. What albums did you find today? We're on 3 or 4 different sites finding new music. That to me, by the time next Friday comes, 1 or 2 of the 10 I found, I'm going to ever listen again. I have that urge. As a local musician, we're all into this game because we had that urge to create and seek. Not everybody's like that. That's why I was saying. So when it comes to the local scene, or that they call it, so I guess to piggyback off of that, a lot of times we're all on Facebook. When you see those people saying the scene is dead, how would you tell them to stop playing the same spot 2 weeks in a row? And is the scene only dead because your band's not pulling, or how come when I go to this other show?
That's a
too
good
much in the
point,
same
yeah.
area. Yeah.
That, or you know what I would tell them? I would be like, okay, next time they have one of those shows, like the last one I went to was like that Lona Shore Kubla Khan show that sold out the fucking, the goddamn, what the hell that place is called?
Fillmore.
Fillmore.
And that's in
New Orleans.
Okay.
These are fucking no singing at all on that fucking whole package right there. Nothing marketable about these bands at all.
how you say that one band?
Singer, man, don't put me on the spot, man. But the bog,
Squish
But no singing.
no singing. A logo you can't read or whatever. Fucking
That they did on purpose for sure.
But
they
Like I
leaned
canceled
into
for
funny.
the Luigi.
yeah, which dude, I
thing.
love their marketing, dude. Holy
that band's
shit,
good at
Yes.
content.
You got the Luigi shirt?
what's that? Yeah, no, I saw that. But you know, you have something like that. So anybody that says the scene's dead, go to a show like that. It's just nobody wants to see your shit, man. And then also, it's one of those things where it's like you got to listen to what you're making and know where to put that at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think placement of your music genre, there's plenty of places to play out here. You need to find the right spot, and you just need to put your time in. It's not going to come overnight, and you got to sell yourself to people. You know what I mean? You are competing with TikTok. You're competing with people that have convenient things at home, but they don't have to leave for entertainment anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do to get me off of the couch? To fucking go and what's more interesting than what the fuck Netflix just put out? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or whenever I have everything at my fingertips at home, what are you going to do to get me out the house? You know what I mean? But then also know where you're playing at. You know what I mean? Like, don't go try to, if you're an old dude, don't go try to play in front of a bunch of 14-year-olds. They don't want to see you. They don't like music anyway half the time. So it's like, you got to really try to find your crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I found that just finding the right bands to play with is almost like
That's a start.
almost that's like 90% of it. Because I was in the other band I was in, I was always like, "There's no scene," or "I'm not allowed in the scene," or something like that. It's just like, dude, you're just not the right band for the bands you're trying to play with. You know what I mean?
You got to beat a little bumblebee in a Blind Melon video.
Yeah. You got to just like, you can't. Like I found like I kind of had a piss poor member in my last group, and he would kind of like we'd end up like kind of standing off. We weren't really friendly with the other groups and stuff like that. I find like just talking to other bands, and especially doing this podcast and stuff like that, is I've gotten to know so many other people. Like it just makes that really relaxed, and you know this other group isn't going to cause shit at the thing. They're to show up on time or something like that. You know, that's I feel like what makes the scene is just finding some solid dudes or some solid groups to put together some shows, you know, and not just have these like mismatched shows and, you know, things like that. You know, just some people that really understand it and aren't just being delusional about where they fit in with everybody, you know.
Yeah, I agree. And then also, like, another thing, there's so much music coming out just because it's not the popular thing, the top 10 thing or whatever.
Yeah.
There's other labels that still put out music from everywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
You find that one band that you like from there. You start, you know, doing a search art. You find them, find the other bands that are like them. Whenever they come to town, guess what? They're going to need an opener. So people that might actually go and see that band, you know what I mean? Something like Relapse might put out or something, right?
Right.
You go see that fucking band, your band gets to open up. people get to see, you know, let's just say 50 people go to it. You know what I'm saying? Now you just found 50 people that likes that kind of music. That's when you need to really sell yourself right there,
Right.
you know, and then just hope it just spreads from there. Like, don't try to keep up with the hot shit that's on TikTok and what the younger kids are into, because they don't like none of this shit.
No, they don't.
Dude,
no.
it's funny as bands like y'all ever heard of Super Heaven? They used to be called
Yeah,
Daylight.
the 90s sounding band.
Dude, they
Jar.
stopped playing shows like 10 years ago, and out of nowhere, the song Youngest Daughter got popular as shit on TikTok. It was like 10-year-old song, and now they're fucking back together writing new music. And I'm like,
What about the tour with
It's like your band.
Pretty much.
They keep jumping around. I think this is probably the most interesting podcast I've heard in a minute. But I would say, as a
Wait till you're listening to it.
I would say I guess that's what I was getting at earlier with venues, this and that, is having self-respect for yourself as a band, in a sense of like touching on what TJ said, what you said, who's at fault at later shows, this and that. So let's say a venue here, and it seems like only is New Orleans, or maybe it's Vegas, or this and that. You have 2 acoustic acts. They're like, oh man, well, we need 3 acts. Well, this metal band over here always says yes. Let me throw them on there. You have to have not necessarily respect for yourself, or understand, like what you were saying, and say no. But that goes back to networking, to where, like, look, I like what this band's doing over here. They sound like us. Let's hook up. Let's not necessarily set a date just yet, but like, hey man, let's book a show together. What available dates you have? We're adults, you're adults, you got families, I have families. All right, you have this weekend, this weekend, this weekend. Let's pick one with ample enough time to make a flyer, make some promotion. Maybe I'll fucking drive to your house and we can have a barbecue, like, hey, so-and-so, like something cool because of the content, but putting on a show as far as filling some venue's calendar. There's been many times to where there's like a emo band, this one, and their motto is "We hate screaming," but the only band that could fill that opening slot is a only screaming band.
right.
It's not going to go well. But you said yes, and you're there, and you're like, oh man, this crowd don't dig me.
There are some dope crossover shows, though.
Oh, but there is, but you got to pick that. You got to pick that. I mean, I guess pick your battles, but it goes back to the venues just trying to fill a slot and not making events. But but like House of Blues, Southport, the bigger ones somehow always pull these people at. And you played House of Blues, but you played Southport, huh?
Play Southport, never House of Blues.
So I know you played a bunch of them. I know for sure the WrestleMania one, and with Jarrett. So like playing all these local things, for some reason, a certain venue and a certain lineup would have the people treating you different than a local one.
Like the presentation of it.
Yeah, to where like they want to take your picture and get an autograph. It's like, motherfucker, I was just playing across the street yesterday. Where were y'all?
Right.
You know,
right.
at this point.
Sometimes it takes that bigger band coming through, and people see you playing with them. They're like, oh, you got it like that.
Right.
It's
But
kind of a little bandwagon-y.
But I would think almost in the extent of all these local shows are leading up to that.
Correct.
So why not present yourself as such prior to that? You know, like how they say, always dress for the job you want. So if you're a local band, there's a set time. There's a start time. Why not start there and build yourself up for that? You know, don't sit on the bar and the show's and your set's over and you'd open a band and you're fucking taking off your cymbals on the stage.
Right.
But I think that can also start too with the band itself, like starting to, you know, like present themselves like, you know, you go to a certain bar that has the same shit over and over, right? It's like, hey, y'all throw these same shows every weekend. You get the same turnout of 20 people right here. Let's try something different. We want to start it at this time. We're going to try to have the run of the show like this, and let's just give this a shot. And they might even start taking you more serious. You know what I mean? Fuck.
He's the only one not drinking. What was that one clause thing? So let's say, I know the Marshroom burnt down, but you had Babylon and Twist right around. They would probably book one on Friday and one on Saturday, you know, and then those are the people saying the scene's dead because 5 people came to this one, but they didn't come to this one. But you're advertising to adults that like, man, I don't have every weekend like that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you say? What you think bands should be doing and not doing?
Don't oversaturate. We were guilty of that shit back in the day. We'd play at like Cypress and then go down the street and play at the bar. You know, the same night sometimes. Don't play too much in the same area. Try to branch out. You know, take a trip every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Because I would say it's like a catch-22. So you got cover bands that are able to do that.
that's a whole different thing.
That's a different animal.
What I'm saying is like, where's the right or the wrong to where like, man, if you're not going to tour, you can't afford it, but you just enjoy playing and you don't
You can't
care.
say the scene's dead if you take that route. Now, if you
Yeah.
take that
Thank you.
route,
Yeah.
you
All right.
can't say the
Thank you.
scene's dead. But I will say this, though.
Thank
to
you.
go off of what he said, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like,
100%.
let's just say you got to be at a venue, you know what I'm saying, early, right? So you got to get there early for load in and all this other shit. That's a couple hours before you play, right? Why not use that time and go drive somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Go drive, play the show, be home probably around the same goddamn time, maybe an hour or two later. Then eventually just start branching off, make friends, hit that same, man, go to Baton Rouge once a month. You know what I mean? Go to the golf. You have Mississippi right there. Right. Texas is big as fuck, man. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Try to just start hitting those little spots right there. And fucking take a chance. It's better than sitting at the same bar every weekend, or unless you're comfortable with that. But like I said, you can't say the scene's dead if you do that.
Right.
That's my point, because we're all friends with people that are touring, doing well on labels.
Yeah.
We don't have to name drop. How often do they play here? Probably
They skip over this whole
Yeah.
state. Most of
and
the
they
time.
live here.
Yeah,
Right.
You know what I mean? And they not once said the scene is dead. They actually still brag on it, still talk about it.
Right.
But I always do find it funny, the ones that say the scene is dead forever are the ones that are, I guess, not doing the right. Whether I always go back to the music. To me, if, you know, everybody likes Goat Horse, Soul and Green, Crowbar, this and that. If they played every weekend, I think they would pull, because their music speaks for itself as far as like the.
Well, starting out, they did have to do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
that was they did the same shit that we did whenever we first started out. You know, like everybody in this room, but they eventually got to that point. You know what I mean? But also, what I could give those bands is they're pretty fucking original, man. You know what I mean? Like, dude, they came up with their own shit. You know, they took all their influences and made their own fucking thing. You know what I mean? They totally got the music to back it up.
And I would say too, they also came in a time where nobody else was doing it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know, like the older bands that are still at it have that longevity to speak for itself. And, you know, like it's only, I always call it the local band's curse. And to me, I guess, well, Damon Grimm probably broke it. Gora, his other band that he's in, is the only band that I saw release 2 releases locally with the same lineup.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's
stayed
3.
together.
We got rid of the other members, so he's on a 3rd release. So
Is he?
Yeah. He
Well, he
made-
told me he I don't know how you even want to word it, but he's not in the band no more.
but he was on the record, and so
I
that's
was
3
there.
releases.
I was there for that.
Oh yeah, see,
Right?
he took
It's that
pictures. Yeah,
one? Is that the one that's coming out?
Yeah, so he was taking. Fuck, that was
And
a
they
while
put it on
back.
vinyl. TJ.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Even though I don't, I like vinyl. I don't collect it, but I like vinyl.
Yeah,
I like
that-
cassettes too.
If I could just afford to, if I could make it seem like, because I think the lowest thing I could buy for the price I wanted was 300. It's like, what the fuck am I going to do with 300 goddamn vinyl records? Like, it's going to be hard to sell that locally.
know that
Even to
price,
break
'cause-
even,
Yeah.
even to break even.
Because
Yeah.
what was yours? You had
I'm not discussing prices.
Yeah.
because yours was 100 vinyl, right?
Yeah, I can't discuss the prices though.
And that was very expensive. I was like, man, I would be
bad,
playing
bro.
a show every goddamn weekend,
Yeah, just like, please buy the fucking vinyl, please.
or just to make it, or just from the door costs or whatever. But I feel like certain venues around here, if you gave them a low ball guarantee, you would get it. But
But here's my question: Can you bring that money to their establishment though?
drinking wise, me personally, I would probably pay for it at the
Right.
bar.
But you know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna ask for, like, let's just say $100, right? Are they gonna make $100 at the door to pay you off of you, because they're basically renting you for $100, right? Like, you're gonna be the entertainment. You know what I mean? So are you gonna
So-
bring $100 worth of people and more for
So
them
you're
to give you
saying
that?
at $10 a person, that 10 people ain't gonna come.
Are they? Is your band gonna bring 10 people? That's the question.
Well, there's already 5. No, but I get what you're saying. But nobody asks, and you just go for it. I think it really at the door. But me, I like personally, I would prefer a free show. They buy the merch, or a $5. I mean, the birthday show is only $5.
Hell yeah.
And we're going for the top. We're doing the main stage because normally I like the deck room.
Right.
The deck room don't cost nothing. I went on a limb thinking about when Through It Was and Aggravate played at the bar. Over 250 people came.
Twist.
What I said? Oh, the bar. Oh, Twist the Lime.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I think we could do the main stage. You know, and Jared and I even talked about, like, bro, maybe we should have stayed with the deck room because it's more intimate, this and that, but family, friends are coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think your mom's coming, right?
Mm-hmm. So you got to protect the elderly.
Gotta give them a lot of space.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're coming to the end of this now. Is there anything that you guys wanted to plug? Something that's going to happen new with any of the bands or anything other than the show before we close up?
Gore release coming later this year. And I might do other stuff with the band. Aggravate, I might not. I don't know.
What about you? Through It Was still up in the air from those recordings, sounds
Be
like.
there at the show. You don't want to miss it.
Where y'all recording at?
And
We don't know yet.
Oh.
And Damon Grimm, you guys are still playing, so we're going to see
we'll-
more stuff from you guys.
Yeah, we're working on getting a old record out, and we use air quotes there, and making new music. This comes out next Thursday, probably.
Thursday, yeah.
So we're about to start dropping teasers for a new music video, new song. Keep that rolling. I think my other band, 610, is probably going to start recording soon as well. So
Very cool. Very cool. And Philip, anything else you wanted to say?
Oh, no. I'm just glad. Well, first off, thank you to you. Thanks for Earl for not being here so I could fit in. And this talking, Rehearsal Space Invaders, for another platform for bands to, like I was telling him, I was like, this is modern day promo.
Yeah.
We could have done, you know, I mean, there's AI, there's all these things, but like podcasts are a thing. You do the video, you do the recording. Some people rather just sit around and listen to people talk shop than an actual song, you know, and hopefully they would take some of these things that all of us said and, you know, put it to use or give us a reason to hate us. I mean, I don't know.
Tell us in the comments how we were
Yeah,
wrong.
but it's a bunch of old heads in the local scene that like came from before social media, before podcasts, before all these things, and putting their knowledge into the now. You know, and I don't know how that'll work out, but hopefully in a positive manner.
Well, I hope everybody likes it. So thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you next week. I like this song.